Hi, guys. It's Nina Hart, president of the NNBA, and I wanted to come on today and just make a short video and kind of talk a little bit about the speaker selection process and give you some tips on how to get selected for next year if you didn't get selected for this year, or if it's something you're thinking about in the future, or maybe you just want to apply it to speaking in general. This was my first year to go through this process for the NNBA. So, coordinating an agenda this large was no small feat. And it was a very exciting process to be able to choose, but it was also a really tough choice because there were so many good submissions. So, I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about. Give you a little bit of information about the selection process and help you understand why you may not have been selected for this year. So that you can be next year. I want you to continue applying, and I thank you for applying this year. So the call to speakers is open until December 1st. We put it out on the website, we put it out in the newsletter, and it closes on December 1st. And I end up turning that around almost immediately after the cutoff. That following week, I'm taking those, I'm putting those into an agenda, I'm going through all the submissions, and I'm creating that agenda for the conference, and then I'm turning that around to submit for the website, the web programming, and the actual physical program to be designed by graphic design and printed out for the conference. So I need those submissions to build that agenda, to see what topics we have applications for, and how we can build that agenda to make it the most powerful experience for nurse entrepreneurs who attend the conference. So knowing that, I'll give you some tips on how to get selected and some stats on the speaker submissions that we had this year. So we had 67 speaker submissions, and 21 of those were selected for the agenda. So that's a pretty large gap. We had 46 that were not chosen. So it was a very hard choice to narrow down those 21 that I selected. And it was a lot of conversation and a lot of decisions, and really tough just to make sure that I had the right people in the right place. So if you didn't get selected, it was not because I didn't want to. I created multiple spots in the agenda that weren't there, added extra breakout sessions, added extra full sessions from the main stage to try and make sure that I could capture as many people as possible, because we had so many great submissions. So some tips here are 5 reasons why I did not select speakers this year. So these are some tips on how you can get selected next year. Number 1, the biggest reason was if they were not a member of the NNBA, I did not select them. I did not select any non-members to speak because we had 67 submissions. And so only members were selected to speak this year. And honestly, with our goal being to amplify and elevate nurses in business and give nurses the opportunity to speak, we're always going to honor our members. So we're always going to put members first. So if you really want to speak at this conference, you'll be a member, because that is really who we give precedence to. Number 2, if it was late. If I received the submission after December 1st, I was already working on the agenda. And if it came in after December 3rd, I didn't even look at it. I had so many submissions. So it has to be on time. We have a large window open for that call to speakers. So it really has to be before December 1st. If the topic wasn't relevant. So the call to speakers was very specific to what we wanted to see for this conference. The topic had to be related to and relevant to nurse entrepreneurship. So if that wasn't incorporated in your submission anywhere, I did not select it. So if you had a great topic that was super exciting and empowering, but it didn't have to do with nurses in business, if it had to do with, personal improvement or lifestyle or mindset or leadership, these are all wonderful topics. But if you didn't tie that to nurse entrepreneurship in any way in your submission, you are not selected. We were very specific on the topics for this conference and the call to speakers, and the topics for the conference are related to nurses in business. the title was long or not engaging or relevant, if the title of your speaker submission was extremely long or did not feel really engaging or grabbing to me, then when I looked at the content that you submitted, it didn't back it up, then you weren't selected for that reason. I really did go by the most powerful titles. And then when I looked at the content, I made sure to look at the objectives and the learning content and what the meat and the substance was, that it was going to back it up. Then that moved that submission up into the category of selection for most cases. And then the last one, number 5, was not enough information. So there was either not a history of speaking provided, there were not links provided to social media or website, or there was no supporting evidence of an established presence. So if you don't have an established following or an established presence that I could see anywhere, if I couldn't go watch a video of you speaking that backed up your submission and give me an idea of your business, what you do, your following, your presence, then that moved that submission down quite a bit, because I really like to know that I have enough information about the speakers to support their speaking at this caliber of conference. So I hope that was helpful. I wanted to make sure I provided some constructive tips on how you can get selected in the future, because again, I really value your submissions. I read every single one. I loved them all. I wanted to choose every NNBA member we had. They were all very good topics. We just had to go with what we felt really best supported the conference this year and what nurses are wanting and needing to see. So that is how the selection was made for this year. Hope that helps.